One of the things we've been talking a lot about lately is arriving versus striving. And I said this on a podcast the other day. I said, one of the reasons I think we're more consistent than the average podcast is because for us, we're always thinking of the fact that we're striving. And essentially, we will never arrive. So it doesn't matter how many episodes we have. It doesn't matter how much quote-unquote success we have. We are in the process of trying to play an infinite game, which means you play that game forever. And no matter how good you are at it, you never win the game, essentially.
If I was ever in a room with 100 people and I asked the audience a question and I said, who here wants to reach their own unique potential? Everybody's hand would go up. However, when you are trying to reach your potential, that is a mountain that gets higher as you climb it, because the moment that you get to a goal, you realize, okay, there's more. I'm capable of more. I'm capable of more. Every record gets broken eventually. It's like at first 4-minute mile is impossible. Someone does the 4-minute mile. Now high schoolers are doing it. So your potential is an infinite game, and we're going to talk about that today.
Next Level Nation, today for episode number 2036. Have you ever thought about life like this before? I hadn't for the vast majority of my life until I was probably, 29, 30, something like that. We're talking about infinite versus finite games and life and how it connects and how, yes, eventually, I'm going to go dark here right off the top. Eventually, you're going to pass away. We're all going to pass away eventually. So we don't have an infinite amount of time, but essentially, if the goal is to get as good as you can get, if the goal is to be as successful as you can be, as fulfilled as you can be, you never really cross a mark where it's like, okay, that's it. I'm as successful as I can be. There's really no such thing as that in the grand scheme of things. So I'm going to kick it to Alan because this is Alan's topic more than it is mine, and I'm going to adjust my mic after I kick it to Alan because it's out here, Jeff.
Okay, so there's a book called The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek, and shout out to Mark in Book Club. He recommended that book a while back. We have yet to read it in Book Club, but he said it was a great book. I ended up reading it. I concur. And again, read it with a grain of salt. It's not the whole spectrum. Every book needs to be taken as its own sort of part of the spectrum, not the whole thing. So infinite game versus finite game. In the book, what he's trying to articulate is that business is actually an infinite game, but we treat it like a finite game, and that's the problem. So first, let's describe infinite game and finite game. And this you can research game theory. I've been researching chaos theory and game theory and constraint theory and all these things since I was very young. I was always very fascinated by all this. In game theory, a finite game, I've been talking a lot about chess lately. Emilia and I are going to be playing chess this weekend. And that was part of we each pick one thing each week that we want to look forward to. And mine was one game of chess with Emilia. And, okay, a finite game is one match of chess. Let's say I were to let's say I were to play Kevin in chess. Yeah, it's late. Let's say I was to play Kevin in chess. That's a finite game. A finite game has rules. It has boundaries. It has limits. It has a winner and a loser. I would be the winner. We are not actually playing.
I would hope so. If you played me in chess, I would hope you'd beat me. I have to assume it would be bad for me.
Well, who knows, right? Maybe you're a sneaky, awesome chess player.
No.
Okay. And again, I'm not necessarily, anything special either. It depends. There's levels to everything. Okay. That's a finite game. The rules are there. It's a finite amount of time. It's a finite game. There's a winner and a loser. Okay. An infinite game. So playing one chess match is a finite game. Becoming the best chess player that you can personally be is an infinite game. You don't ever arrive. There is no chess player in the world who can't get better.
Sell me on the importance of this concept.
Nice. If you play... Okay, life is a series of finite games within an infinite game. So, for example, back to the chess metaphor. Okay, whether it's podcasting or chess or your career, a lot of people do. They treat things like the end-all, be-all. When in reality, it's one brick to the building. It's one drop in the ocean. It's one grain of sand in the sands of time. No. But seriously, one of the reasons why finite thinking is so dangerous is because money is not finite. Money is an infinite game. I know it sounds like it's not, and it certainly doesn't feel like it is. Okay, I understand. But for example, let me give you an example. This is going well. Okay, if this was the 1930s, you, in your current lifestyle, would be considered the highest quality of life of any human on planet Earth. So the human species has evolved over time. iPhones didn't exist 100 years ago. The internet didn't exist 100 years ago. It's a bunch of finite games. The iPhone is a finite thing. But the pursuit of better and better phones, the pursuit of better and better people, the pursuit of better and better economics, the pursuit of better and better cameras, the pursuit of better and better films, that's infinite. And so if you treat your potential finite, you're screwed because it's a fixed mindset. That's the truth.
Yeah.
A finite mindset means if Kevin gets money, that means I lose. It's a zero-sum game. But that's not true. Kevin's win is not my loss. Unless we're playing a direct finite game. If you and I play horse together at the Next Level Hope Foundation event, which we did, there's a winner and a loser. But that doesn't mean you suck and you lose forever. That means next time you play, you can get better. And I think that's the detriment is people with finite thinking, they hurt each other and they hurt themselves because they're playing in a very scarce world. Now, we talked on the last episode about scarcity versus abundance, and I tend to be overly abundant. This is why. I think in an infinite game. My career is not predicated on just this moment. My career is this moment is building my career. And that's, I think, the best way to put it is each chess match is one building block in becoming a chess master. And that's the metaphor that I hope people are taking, the mindset people are taking when it comes to their potential and their career and how much wealth they can build and their relationship, that kind of thing.
So essentially, it's just fixed mindset versus growth mindset in the simplest form.
Yes.
In the simplest form.
Yeah.
Now, based on all the conversations we've had recently and forever about belief, do you think someone can have a growth mindset without belief?
No.
Like self-belief?
Not anymore.
Same.
Someone asked me recently, this was a client, she said, so it all just comes down to goals, huh? I said, close. It all comes down to belief. Because without belief, you won't have goals. But it does. It comes down to belief. If you don't have self-belief, you won't set a goal. If you don't set a goal, there's no opportunity cost. There's no playing to win. There's only playing not to lose.
Well,
all of us.
Go ahead.
All of us do have a goal. It's just unconscious. Back in the day.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done. I'll do it one more time, probably. Go ahead.
It's all good. This is good. I appreciate it because usually it's me interrupting you. Back in the day, you didn't have any goals, quote unquote, but you did have unconscious goals. You wanted to date a hot girl. You wanted to get a dream car. Like, everyone has goals. They just maybe aren't written or conscious.
Or real. I mean, those weren't. There's a different. What's the difference between a goal and a fantasy? Those are very different things. Right? There's a difference between a goal, a dream, and a fantasy. I think those are very different things.
What did you think? Because when I first met you, you were a finite thinker, and now I think you do dance between infinite and finite, which I think is really important. The best thinkers, for lack of better phrasing, think both finite and infinite. So I'm thinking finite right now of wanting this episode to go really well. But this episode is one building block in a greater tapestry of our careers.
Yeah.
Do you think about it like that?
More now than I used to, but...
Yeah, back in the day, it was like, if this goes poorly, I think we're done forever. Right?
Well, I think it's so much of it's emotional. So much of it's emotional in the moment of, oh, if this goes wrong, I'm going to feel bad. And if I feel bad, I'm not going to want to do this again. And if I don't do this again, it's a whole thing. For anybody on YouTube who sees Alan looking to the left, we're having some sound issues, so he quite literally has to monitor his sound for the entirety of this episode. I've had to do it before. There's a little sneaky part of me that is not glad, but I'm happy he's doing it so he knows what it takes, because I had to do it and it was like, dude, that was terrible.
I'm impressed.
It's
impressed
terrible.
with you in the past, because in the past, Kev had to hold his mic input level for several episodes.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna get it tonight, unfortunately.
Well, for anyone out there watching or listening, if you did listen to episode 2035,
Yes.
I was doing it for that whole episode too.
And hopefully you didn't even know.
Yeah, hopefully you didn't even know. Although I thought about this too. You know, the metaphor I used in my head was athletes play injured all the time. Nobody even knows. Right? Fighters, they're injured all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. I mean, when you're in the gym, no one knows that my ankle hurts or my left knee was tweaked a little bit. You just have to do what you got to do. You never know. Everything's different from the inside out than the outside in. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about today is infinite versus finite. In hindsight, brother, what were the detriments of you thinking so finite?
Didn't take many shots because I was afraid that if the shot went wrong, everything would go wrong. I think it's that. It's your... Right now, I'm living, in this moment, I'm living for the now. But the reason I'm living for the now is because the now adds up to forever. As opposed to in the past, I'm living for now because now is all that matters. And if I don't survive now, I'm not going to do this forever. But I think it's just if you have a lack of belief, again, this is like the number one pillar at NLU is self-belief.
Yeah, 100%.
The amount of self-belief you have, the amount of confidence you have in your unique capability to achieve something in the external world. Like that dictates. This is a really good example of that to a degree. So Alan and I this week technically, but last week, if you're listening to this episode, we've been going on podcasts together. And we used to do that all the time. Back in the day, we used to do that all the time. We stopped doing it for a long time just because it's hard to... Our schedules don't always align. It's a whole thing. And this week we went on 2. And after the second one, I called Alan. I said, brother, I had a massive breakthrough. And he's like, what do you got? And I said, I would never get invited to podcasts like that on my own.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Why?
Because I'm not that type of person. I'm not
type A.
I don't think I look good on paper. I think I have a good story. I have an impactful story. A lot of people want to talk about my story, and I appreciate that. I'm always grateful and privileged to do that. But outside of that, I don't have a great resume. I'm not type A, so I don't think type A people resonate with me. And very honestly, I usually don't resonate with type A people either.
That's changing, though.
Now it is.
Yeah.
Now it
and
is.
I think that's really important, man. Because when I was, and I still am, but like the type A, type B thing, and again, take this with a grain of salt. It's obviously an oversimplification.
Yeah,
you're not an achiever or not an achiever. It's a spectrum, right?
Right.
Oh, you're blue collar, white collar. You're up, you're down. That's not what we're doing here. But what I will say is that I used to resonate a lot with achievers, and I now have learned I resonate a lot. I think my whole life I've always resonated a lot with people that are and are not achievers. Although I do think that a lot of people were pretending to be achievers around me, so maybe that was part of it. But back to the infinite and finite thing. When you have a lot of self-belief, you tend to be very optimistic about the future because you feel very in control of it. There's something to that. Maybe this is another episode we'll do at some point. How in control of your own future do you feel? That's a very important thing. Like, when we were at Next Level Live, I said, okay, now I'm going to get Kevin to sound cocky. Hey, Kev, 0 to 10, how certain are you? You can lose 10 pounds in 10 weeks. You're like, 10. I said, see? All his brain did was, okay, I know how to do it. I've done it before. I can do it again. Here's the calculation. Less calories, more exercise. Boom, 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 boom. Done. That's why I think I often come off arrogant, is because I'm just calculating it. There's certain things at NLU that are going very well for us. Those things are things that we strategized about years ago. Sometimes months ago, but years ago. And there's things that I said would happen for us years ago that are now happening, and Kev's like, oh. And vice versa. And then there's certain things not going so well, and then we have to figure out why. Okay, well, obviously I was missing something. So the infinite and finite game thing, if you have low self-belief, you're automatically going to be playing not to lose, to the point of the last episode, and you're going to be playing a finite game. When you go to play chess with someone, is your fear losing? I'm only playing to try to get better. I actually like playing people better than me.
Well,
I said
yeah,
this to
you're on the way. You're on the very, very far end of that, though. Again, I don't ever. I tell Alan this all the time. I don't think the goal is ever to get to Alan's end fully. Like for me specifically, it's like I'm not trying to get all the way to your end.
When we were playing basketball together, was your goal not to lose or was your goal to win?
Neither. I didn't really have. It was. I don't know. It was probably to win, but to have fun. Like I didn't care whether I won or lost. It's a fucking pickup basketball game at a YMCA with kids. Yeah, I don't care that much.
Okay. Let's do a different one. You and I talked behind the scenes recently. You're doing 10 pounds in 10 weeks or whatever. You're on a cut. You're trying to get to 170.
170, and then we'll see.
Okay. You're playing. That's a finite game. Getting from where you are now to 170 is a finite game. Great. Okay, now what? Now you're 170. Now what?
Now I gain weight again.
Okay. All right. And then how much? How much? How much?
Here's the thing. I don't know yet because I'm going to try to do a very, very lean bulk. So I don't know. I'm going to see.
Okay, what if someone came to you and said, "What the fuck is the point, man? You're just going to
The point is to change body composition. Eventually the point is to weigh the same amount but to have more muscle. That is the point of bodybuilding.
Why?
Because
what's the point of that?
It's better for your metabolism. It allows you to eat more. There's longevity involved. You look jacked.
Okay, so why does any of that matter?
Because I'm vain.
You're ruining the game. You're ruining the game. No, there's purpose behind that because you want to be around for Taryn. You want to
I'll live longer and I'll be more capable, hopefully. And my grandmother, when she was, I don't know how old she was when she fell and broke her hip. She fell and broke her hip and she almost died. I don't want that to happen to me. I want to be somebody who can do a really good job of taking care of myself. And I think exercise and fitness is definitely one way for sure. And I don't know what the studies are, but there's studies associated with muscle, the amount of muscle you have and longevity. 100%. I don't know what they are off the top of my head. So my thought process is if I can continue to recomposition my body, we'll be healthier.
Yeah. And there's actually a direct correlation in the research between quad strength and longevity because that's the majority or a large percentage of older people that die from falling and breaking a hip. Yeah. And so if you have good quads, you don't tend to do that. Okay.
Next Level Nation, we would love to invite you to our 18th round of Next Level group coaching. It is the Next Level Podcast Accelerator. If you are a podcaster who wants to level yourself up, level your podcast up, and level your business up, this 12-week program is perfect for you.
So we've done this 18 times. We've iterated and improved and improved. The first 4 weeks is level up yourself. The next 4 weeks is level up your podcast. The last 4 weeks is level up your business, build a brand underneath your business. The promo code is NLU Listener, all one word. Put that in at checkout for 30% off. It comes to less than $25 per session for the 12 sessions. Kevin or I will be on every single one of them. We hope to see you there. So, okay, well, what's the point in living longer? Like, we can play this game forever. I can just keep asking questions, and eventually you're going to get to the inevitable answer of my quality of life will be higher overall. That's eventually where I'm going to get you. Because that's why any of us do anything. The problem is we're playing the game wrong. Some people are playing checkers, some people are playing chess, some people aren't playing any games. They've opted out. A lot of people are very nihilistic and they say, well, what's the point in exercising? We're all going to die anyway. Why wouldn't I smoke these cigarettes? We're all going to die anyway. Well, if that's the case, then why do anything? Should we all just wake up and sit in our own filth?
You know what? I do some days. You know what I was thinking yesterday? I have this I don't know, something happened to me and I've just been eating the same thing every night and I'm super fucking excited about it. I just have ground beef, a whole bag of Brussels sprouts, and then some sort of carbohydrate.
Nice.
And yesterday, Taryn called me and she said, hey, I'm stopping at the grocery store. Do you need anything? And I said, if I told you what I had for dinner, it would make you physically ill. And she said, what do you mean? I said, I had ground beef mixed with Brussels sprouts, and I had 4 slices of dry, toasted sourdough bread. Nothing on them.
Nice.
And,
Sicko.
and she's like, why? When did you put it? I don't know. I just felt like eating it. That's what I wanted. I just wanted that. I don't know. I was craving it for some reason. And after that, I was thinking, okay, let's say, hypothetically speaking. Now, again, this is up for your interpretation. Hypothetically speaking, suffering is required. Let's say in this box, I'm building a finite box right now. I'll connect it to the episode even. Finite box. In this box, suffering is mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather suffer either in place or backwards, or would you rather suffer upwards and onwards? Right now,
Nice.
I am choosing the suffering towards goals. Again, it either happens now or it happens eventually. Either you pinch your purse straps, is that what people say? Pinch pennies, whatever it is, now, and you
tighten the purse strings.
Tighten the purse strings. Thank you so much.
Pinch the purse straps.
Pinch the purse straps. You live under your means, so eventually you could save money, and eventually you can live at your means and a little bit higher. That is kind of my new thought of, well, I would rather suffer by choice in a positive direction as opposed to suffering through being stuck or sliding backwards. And
nice.
I think that's an infinite perspective.
It is. It's the less, we said this at Next Level Live too, and I want to share this with all the listeners as I struggle with my finger going numb holding this.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's not great. We have another episode after this too.
Yes, we do.
But we're here for the listeners, suffering by choice toward goals and dreams and service. Okay. At Next Level Live, we were asked, why grit? Why suffer? What's the point, right? And it's a valid question. Let's actually contemplate it. Let's actually do this. Let's have this conversation, right? I think it was Emilia that asked the question.
It was Emilia that asked that question.
And I said the truth is, and I'm going to tagline, I'm going to piggyback a quote that I love on top of my answer. The people who are sacrificing, struggling, and suffering and grinding toward their goals and dreams will always be the envy of the people sitting around feeling sorry for themselves. Okay, I've been on the other end.
Same.
I've been on the end of complacency and sitting around feeling sorry for myself while I watched other people live out their dreams. I have been there, and it fucking blows. And if anyone is there, I see you, I've been there too, and you can turn it all around. I've seen it happen. I've done it, okay? I was up at 4 a.m. watching videos, hating my fucking self and my life, okay? So you can turn it around. You can turn it around. It's not going to happen overnight, but day by day, brick by brick, you can achieve your dream body. You can achieve your dream life. You can achieve your dream relationship, believe it or not. I struggle to believe that one, and you can totally do it. But it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to happen overnight. Okay. She said, well, why grit? What's the point? Like, how do you push through suffering? And I said, honestly, I'm not going to give you the rah-rah, it's worth it, it's going to be great, it's all going to work out. I'm going to give you the truth. It's better than the alternative. It's just better than the alternative. Why did you do the marathon when it was so painful, Alan? It's better than giving up and not believing in myself as much. Because then I'd have to spend the rest of my goddamn life saying I almost crossed the finish line. I did a triathlon once. It was up a hill. I'll never forget it. I hit the wall. I had never done a triathlon before. And I was suffering on another level because I did not train for this. I was up until 2 a.m. I ate McDonald's the night before. My own fault. Okay? All my fault. Truth be told, show up, never trained for it. Let's rock and roll. I'm tend to be reckless. I'm coming up this hill. Okay? This is a half-mile swim. This is a 14-mile bike, 13 or 14. And then it's a 5K. Okay? I'm 2/3 through this 5K, and I'm coming up a hill, and the sun hits me around this bend, and it is just every cell in my being wanted to quit. I'm talking, if I was going to quit, it would have been right fucking then. And I said, Alan, the alternative is worse. You're not going to spend the rest of your fucking life regretting the fact that you quit. You will suffer for a purpose. You said you were going to do this. It's game time. Now, I don't want this to be toxic masculinity. I want this to be the truth. My highest self came in and said, Alan, you can fucking do this. You can do this. And I was right. Highest self was right. I did it. Okay? It wasn't perfect, but I came in 2 minutes behind the person who had done a ton of triathlons, and I did a good job, and I'm so proud of myself. It's you versus you. I did a 5K this past summer. I came in 42nd or something. You versus you, but I did better than the year before. We're going to do it again this year. I'm going to beat my time. It's you versus you. It's an infinite game. It's finite games within an infinite game. 1 5K, 1 marathon, 1 triathlon, 1 podcast episode, 1 coaching session. Those are all finite games, but it builds you. Everything you do and don't do either builds you into the man or woman you aspire to be, or it tears you down. And I used to drink, and I used to do all this stuff that was tearing me down. It was not building me into my own dream self. We all have that potential inside of us. We all have that vision of what we could be and what our life could look like. And between us now and that future potential is a bunch of finite games that kind of blow, and within an infinite game. And when our life does end, because all of us, to Kevin's point, are going to die one day, we're going to face whether or not we reached our true potential, whether or not we gave it our all. And there's a lot of dark stuff happening in the world right now. I know you know. I know a lot of people know. There's a lot of really shady shit going on. And every time Emilia and I have a discussion and she starts talking about how women are being treated and all this stuff and how bad all that is, and I'm with you 1,000%, I sit there and I say, sweetheart, are we doing all we can with all we have? And she said, yes. And I say, let's keep doing that. And let's do it better. Because that's what's in our control. What's in our control is doing all you fucking can with all you fucking have. And the truth is, if you can't say you are, one day, that's going to come back and bite you. And I've been there.
Kids fired up.
Got to.
Before we go, obviously I have to ask this question because it wouldn't be good if I didn't. What's the downside of infinite thinking?
You will fail constantly.
That's why you need self-belief.
Yes.
That is 100%. Because that is essentially you're saying, honestly, this game doesn't really matter. I don't really care if I win this game. I'm going to, as long as I take a lesson from this game that I can use in the next game. And you might lose like all of the games while people are watching. And then eventually those people will be like, I don't want to watch this fucking game anymore. This is terrible. I'm going to go watch something else. But you continue going and you're behind the scenes and you're growing and you're evolving and you're fulfilled and you're getting results you never thought you could. But for the vast majority of it, unfortunately, you're not getting the results you want. And it's this weird freaking thing.
Yeah, the next level there's always a next level. That's an infinite game. There's always a next level. No matter how hard your past has been, no matter how hard your present is, there's always a bigger, better, brighter future. And no matter what, there's always a next level. You're going to cut, then you're going to bulk, then you're going to cut, then you're going to bulk, then you're going to cut, then you're going to bulk. Why? What's the point? Because you're trying to reach your potential. And it's a mountain that gets higher as you climb it. So to flip the script real quick, what is the upside of not trying to reach your potential? Let's actually talk about the upside of that. There's a huge downside. The downside of not reaching your potential, I do believe, is lack of fulfillment and lack of meaning. I think we've all known what it's like to really not try, and it can be very depressing. I've been there. But what is the upside? You just get to have a lot more fun, and you don't really have to have a lot of responsibility. Like I would ask you.
Yeah, you get a lot of pleasure. The upside is you get pleasure on demand for a delayed, inevitable downturn. But it doesn't happen right away.
Yeah.
It takes a while. Just like success doesn't happen right away. I mean, there are certain things, right? You drink and then you drive your car, like you're an idiot and something bad's going to happen potentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's an example of that. But outside of that, it's like, you go smoke a joint, go to the beach. Awesome. You want to watch the sunset on the beach smoking a joint? Fucking awesome. That's great.
It is great.
In the moment.
How many days in a row can you do that before eventually your responsibilities start to slide? And
that I don't believe. I think that's all horseradish.
Talk to me.
I know plenty of people that smoke pot that are fucking
No.
high
It's not
achievers.
because they're smoking pot.
Oh.
I'm talking like go to the beach every day and neglect your
Well,
responsibilities.
I'm thinking like you walk out, you live on the water, you walk out on your porch, you light up a J, and you just look at the sunset. Wow, that's then you go inside, you strap on your Oura ring, you get your earplugs in, your mask, and then you're off to bed.
Yeah.
And you're off to bed.
Well, this is the thing, right? It comes down to those three things, last piece. Growth, contribution, and quality of life. We do have it boiled down to those three. Growth requires sacrifice and struggle and suffering and reaching towards your potential and finite games that lead to infinite games. Contribution, same deal. Quality of life is enjoying the present. There's a way to have all three. There is, but there's no way to maximize all three. You have a certain syntax, and this is what we used to do in group coaching before it became the Podcast Accelerator. We would say, what's your syntax? So Kevin is, so if it's growth, contribution, quality of life, Kevin is contribution first, quality of life second, growth third. For me, it's growth first, contribution second, quality of life third. And Emilia, at one point in our relationship, she had to say, like, we're missing that third one. You and I, we don't even have it in our equation. Like, we need to improve our quality of life. And once I started seeing how poorly I was aging, I started to bump that one up, because I think I've aged like 6 years in the last 3, and I'm typically someone who looks 15. So
somebody gave me some supplements. It's called magnesium malate or malate.
Nice.
And I looked it up. I ChatGPT'd it. I was like, is this worth taking? What is this? What is this about? Am I going to die from this? And it said it helps promote restfulness and sleep. And I was like, yeah, well, everything says that. I don't believe a freaking word of it. Back-to-back 85 sleep scores.
Nice work.
One night, I only got 7 hours and 20 minutes of sleep, and I still pulled an 85.
Nice work.
So that might be something.
Very good.
I can't tell you to take it because I'm not a doctor, but I'm taking it.
One of my clients does magnesium and also swears by it as well.
There you go. All right, cool.
Maybe I'll have to look into it.
I can send you the one that I have if you'd like, and yeah.
Yes, please.
Anything quickly you'd like to add before we hop on to our next? It's 9:08 on a Friday night right now. The question is, how bad do you want it? I want it bad, but I want to go to sleep also.
I think that stay in the construction zone. Like, if you oversuffer at the expense of yourself, you're going to age poorly. You're not going to get good sleep. Like, it's not good. You're not going to reach your potential if you're constantly not taking care of yourself. However, if you're only ever on the beach watching sunsets, you're not going to achieve your dreams either. So there's a way to harmonize growth, contribution, and quality of life in the finite game that leads to the infinite game of doing all you can with all you have. And I'm going to have a family and all that stuff. I want to spend quality time with my family too. So, but it's not going to be 9 hours a day. And maybe that is true for some people. Maybe that's what they want. But everyone, it's unique. Your own unique version of success. That's it.
My next level lesson would be, it is a jar of marbles. Life is a jar of marbles. And I think the hard part is we want to take all of our marbles and we want to put them into one jar. But when you put them all into one jar, the other jars are empty eventually. And those are the jars you want. So I think it's the thing of, I don't really want to work that hard. I want a vacation. I want to hang out with my friends. But I do, in 50 years, want to live in a mansion. It's like, well, I think you're only going to get one of those, unfortunately. Unless you're, like, unbelievably good looking, you could probably get away with it. Like, there's ways, right? There's ways. Rich. Yeah, I mean, there's ways that maybe you can do stuff like that. But for the vast majority of us,
deeply unfulfilling ways.
They're most likely deeply unfulfilling ways. But for most of us, that's not how it's going to work. And I know people don't like sacrifice. I know that word oftentimes gets thrown around as something negative, but again, it's 9:10 on a Friday. I don't want to do this. I'd rather be in bed snuggling with my wife. I haven't seen my wife. I've been working since 6 a.m. all day. It sucks. But one, contribution, super, super important. Quality of life is taking a hit. But that's kind of how you think about it. Right now, the quality of life in this moment is not great, but contribution's 10 out of 10.
Growth is high, too. I hope we're learning some stuff here.
Growth is, well,
my goodness.
See, Alan
how
got nervous.
Dare you.
I forgot that one, honestly. Honestly, I was like, what's the third one again? But yeah.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
66%. Meatloaf, yes.
Meatloaf's a band.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Okay,
Very
we're gonna
old band.
Yes, we're gonna get out of here before Alan starts telling us more about old bands.
Classic rock.
you are into classic rock and self-improvement, join our private Facebook group. It's called Next Level Nation. Posts every day by the team, Alan, myself. Amy runs the group. She's crushing it. The rest of the team posts in there as well. So if you're looking for a group of like-minded, positive people, and you're looking for a daily inspiration, the podcast is, I would say, daily lessons. The Facebook group is a little bit easier to digest. You're not really going to have to contemplate life every day in there. Some days, it might be like, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Other days, it might be like, on a scale of 0 to 10, how well you're doing in health, wealth, and love. I think that was the most recent post. So we'll have the link below. We'd love to have you there because growth-minded people with growth-minded people do growth-minded things.
Nice, man.
As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it next level. Next Level Nation.